Hello, my name is Ron Belak, and today we're here to discuss fishing small mountain streams. We're located here on Bear Creek, which is about 30 miles west of Denver, and we're going to illustrate some of the techniques here on the creek today. Let me talk first about equipment for fishing small streams, and I have two fly rods here rigged up today. I've got an 8-foot rod. The 8-foot rod is really good because it's a short length, and that way you can get into some rather tight places and make some short casts with it. I've got this rigged up for fishing with nymphs. The leader on this is a short leader about 7.5 or 8 feet long. It tapers to 5X, to which I've included and attached two nymphs over here. They're bead heads, a copper john and a pheasant tail in size 16. And then above this, I have a small indicator which is movable so I can adjust for the depth of the water. You'll notice that on this particular rig, there is no split shot. The weight is entirely out of the bead head nymphs. The other rod that I have rigged up for today is a little longer rod. It's a 9-footer, which is for most mountain streams probably a little bit too long, but we can get away with it here on Bear Creek. And again, I've got a short leader on this, tapering again to about 4 or 5X on here, and I've got a nice bushy humpy here about a size 14 or so. I like to use these very bushy attractor patterns on small mountain streams, mainly because they float so well and the fish really aren't all that picky about patterns. You may run across a few hatches on these streams, but they really are the exception rather than the rule. You could run into, on a creek like Bear Creek here, you could run into some blue-winged olives or perhaps some caddis and some red quills on other streams. As far as other equipment for fishing small mountain streams, there really isn't a lot. You can take your fly fishing paraphernalia, things like tippet and boxes of flies and floating, and you can put them in a little fanny pack like this and kind of zip it up and wear it around your waist rather than having a big bulky vest on. You want to take along a net also to help you along. Notice it's a smaller net because a lot of the fish on these small streams are a little bit smaller, but what they lack in size, they often make up for in numbers. You can also see that I have a pair of waist-high waders. Either these or some hip boots are fine. And with that, you've got all the equipment that you need, so let's go fish. Now, when you fish a small stream, you have to be in the stealth mode. You notice that I have on a lot of drab-colored clothing to help myself camouflage with the background. You want to sneak up, keep a low profile, keep your rod down, and that's really the way to approach a small mountain stream. The water is really clear, it's often shallow, and the fish are really spooky. Even though they are indiscriminate in some of the flies they take, if they get spooked, that's it. You only have a couple of casts or so. So remember, again, use the vegetation as a cover and try to make every cast count. You want to make a limited number of false casts when you do this, and think about short casts on here. This is a classic pool that we're fishing over here, and as with most water on a high mountain stream, you want to start out by fishing the downstream section and moving upstream with a series of short casts. Drag is the kiss of death when fishing one of these small streams, so you're only going to get really short little drifts on here. Notice how I keep as much of the fly line as possible off the water, and there it's starting to drag, so I'm going to lift up. Again, there's a nice drift over there with minimal drag. When the drag starts is about the time you want to lift up. Again, a nice drift over there. You don't want to beat the water to death on a small stream. It's not like the tailwaters where the fish are only going to move a few inches or so. These fish, if they're interested, they're going to take it. You're either going to interest them or spook them. Okay, we've already fished the tail of the pool over here. That's the section that you want to fish first because most of the feeding trout are actually be located in the tail. But we're going to approach the middle section of the pool right now. And again, you want to be in the stealth mode here. You want to use the vegetation here to your advantage for concealment. Getting a nice drift in there. Nice short drifts again through here. And there's a fish. Looks like perhaps a little small brown. Took one of the nymphs here. Oh, we'll bring this little brownie in here. There we go. So we're approaching the head of the pool over here. There's a little bit more current. Again, try to keep a low profile on this. And short casts, no fly line on the water here. Oh, we had a hit over there. We had a fish on. Okay, we're gonna fish some pocket water here. This is pretty much classic Rocky Mountain small stream pocket water here. And when you fish pocket water, you have to really change your perspective on the stream. You got to shrink the scale down on here and break it down into these little sections. You're going to see a whole number of little eddies, little slots, little backwater currents. Any one of those things can have a fish in there. Generally, the fish are going to be in the darker colored water. The white water obviously is more turbulent and the fish don't hold as well. So you'll probably get a lot of those fish in the darker water behind and in front of rocks. Okay, we're going to move up over here. We're going to take advantage of this rock. Use this to hide behind. Make a cast in there. See if that fish that I caught last week is still in there. You can see how I work this pocket with a few casts. Coming right through the current there. Going to make a cast off to the side here, try to hit this pocket. I'm going to try this water right here. Float it down. Again, you don't have to worry about the perfect drift through here. Things are really tumbling and you're getting a lot of changes in velocity here. Okay, we're going to approach and fish this small run in here. And you really fish these pretty much like you fish a pool. You want to sneak up from downstream and do your short casts. I'm going to fish pretty low because the water is pretty much open. There's not a lot of cover here, so just a series of runs with some small browns in there. I'm going to make short casts and just progressively move upstream. There's a fish. There's a little fish right there. Was in the top of that run. Little brown. There's a nice brown. That's got to be all of what, about 24, 25 inches? There he goes. Back into the current. Oh, he wants the boot. Yes. All right, thanks for the play. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today. I hope these tips will help you when you fish small mountain streams. For more information on fishing small mountain streams in Colorado, please see my article in the fishing edition of the 2012 issue of Colorado Outdoors magazine. And good luck when you go out on the stream.